Oilers Nation every day at nighttime?
Oilers Nation every day after dark.
Oilers Nation every day after dark. Yaremchuk, Liam Horrobin, live from the Century Mile Racetrack. Liam, you're never supposed to turn your back to the camera. We'll make an exception. Doesn't the track look beautiful?
It is a great day for racing, folks.
It's a lovely day.
Lovely day.
Boogity, 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 boogity. Let's go racing. We're excited. It is Oilers Nation night at Century Mile Racetrack. We do have a full show, though. We're going to talk. There's some Oilers news. It's also a Sherwood Ford Giant preseason edition of the show because it is a game day tonight. Edmonton traveling down to Calgary. I saw their bus as I was going one way on the QE2, and they were coming back the other way.
They didn't fly?
I'm kidding. They flew.
I thought they only buses to Winnipeg.
But we do have some Oilers stuff to talk about. But first, it is race night for us. Waz is like, I don't know how to describe the mindset I believe Waz is in. He's getting to go to the stables. And then he was like, hey, can I have the keys to the truck? I was like, okay. But we're having a really good time. The races get going at about 6:15. So if you're watching this and you're like, damn, I was just going to sit at home all Friday night, there's still plenty of time for you to get down here.
Yeah, not tonight. We'll see you down here in Nisku, I think.
Yeah, well, it's right by the airport. It's like Nisku, Leduc area, whatever you call it.
Drove here.
Trust me, traffic was busy today.
Traffic was bad.
You were coming from the other way, though.
Why? But then I went all the way home and then came back.
Oh, really? I wondered why you went here when I got here.
I know. Anyways, what was I talking about? Big race day. Races start at 6:15. I really wanted to do this. The first run of horses. We have the 1-horse, Diodoro. The 2-horse, Saucy Posse.
Oh, that's a good one.
The 3-horse, CF Bird on a Wire.
Should rehearse these.
I know. 4, which my friend from Century Mile, Jeff Robillard, has said named after me because he used to coach me baseball. Caught Stealing Home. Number 5, Rogue Agent. The 6-horse, Winnie Pooh.
Oh, that might be mine. I was a big Winnie the Pooh fan.
This next one is. Number 7, Ruby Red Custard. That's ketchup.
Yes, it is.
Number 8, Rezzy's Gal, and that owner is out of Sherwood Park. So
who's the owner?
Sam Jack Johnson. Campbell. He also bred the horse. That's what it says. He's the breeder. Anyways, you do get these cool little pamphlets, or what do you call them?
Programs
for $2. We're excited. We're gonna $4.99 breakfast every Wednesday actually is legit.
That is big.
As well. So there's lots to do here at Century Mile. Anyways, we are live as always on the Oilers Nation YouTube. Larissa's in and says, "Wish I could be there." Sergeant Battle is sitting right there. He is the guy who's gonna get me on the Discord. He said that's the only reason he came. He's rocking a beautiful Ryan Nugent-Hopkins Heritage Classic jersey, which we are also giving away some Heritage Classic jerseys here at the event.
Really?
I saw some on the table. I'm assuming we're giving those away.
No one tells me things. I just show up and things happen.
We're also giving away some Nation gear, which is good.
I saw that.
But let's talk some hockey, Liam. Let's get into it with the Sherwood Ford Giant preseason question of the day. Who are you going to be watching the closest tonight in the preseason game? The lineup, if you haven't seen it yet, Aaron has the roster pulled up here. I'll go through. This is via Oilers Access, who tweeted out Peterson. These aren't official lines, but these are the forwards who are here. Peterson, Derek Ryan, Warren Fogle. Brad Malone, Ralph Lavoie, Dylan Holloway. That's an interesting line. James Hamblin, Xavier Bourgault, Drake Caggiula. Greg the Egg McKegg, Seth Griffith, Carter Savoy. The D-men that the Oilers have brought to Calgary are Kulak, Ceci, Hoffenmeyer, Desharnais, Niemelainen, Kemp. Peters is the extra body. Jack Campbell is expected to get a decent amount of work tonight in the game. But I read you off all those players. The people watching on YouTube can see the roster on the right side. Who are you watching the closest tonight?
I think there's only one answer, really, isn't there? Lavoie? Savoy was in my head. So it's Raphael Lavoie. He's the one who really needs to make an impression on his team. I feel like everybody else has their positions locked in within the organization, wherever it's going to be, right? But Lavoie is the man who needs to prove himself that he can be an NHLer. And by the sounds of it, Calgary is playing a pretty experienced lineup tonight. Therefore, he needs to prove that he can play against everyday NHLers.
Basically, Calgary's dressing their NHL top 9 or pretty close to it. About 7 out of the 9 guys are legit top 9 pieces. Matt Coronado's in that mix as well. They're also playing half of their NHL blue line. They're starting Dan Vladar. It's going to be a really good test for Raphael Lavoie. I really am having a hard time seeing how he doesn't crack this team.
Me too.
Honestly, to a point of like, no matter how bad he plays, I think you keep him up and you don't risk losing him on waivers. There would be, even if you like what Brandon Sutter's bringing to the mix in the preseason, he will go down to Bakersfield.
Yes.
Let him work on his conditioning. There is no sense sending Ralph Lavoie down, losing him on waivers, and a month in being like, oh my God, we have 2 injuries and we could have just called up Brandon Sutter anyways.
Well, I think a very good example to back up your point there, Tyler, is the fact that Ty Smith cleared waivers today.
That actually is...
Brandon Sutter, if the Oilers choose to sign him to a contract, essentially, will clear waivers if the Oilers want to keep him.
Or do you look at the Ty Smith thing and say, well, if he clears, someone like Ralph Lavoie should clear? Ty Smith was a first-round pick.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, that was the Ty Smith thing was very surprising. Nobody wanted to take a swing at that guy for free.
It's very weird. Like, if you're Arizona, why are you not taking a swing at Ty Smith?
If you're anyone, like even Pittsburgh, like I'm surprised they even put him on waivers. But anyway, yeah, like waivers is always an intriguing thing. I think Lavoie would go down because he's more developed, I guess you could say. He looks more NHL ready. Maybe Smith isn't there, but waivers, it's not as crazy as it may always seem. You know what I mean?
Maybe we shouldn't be that scared of waivers.
Yeah. Like what was that guy last year? I can't remember. But
Oiler?
No, I think he was a Toronto Maple Leaf. He went through and teams that everyone's he's not going to clear, and then he cleared.
Yeah.
A few years ago,
it does kind of happen quite a bit.
Tyler Ennis went on waivers and then he cleared and all that stuff.
Riley is in and says, so true. To be honest, I think we've seen more from Lavoie than Sutter. I would tend to agree with that.
Yeah.
I think Brandon Sutter right now is really struggling to keep up with preseason pace. I think Brandon Sutter a month into the season, you could sit there and go, well, his conditioning will be better. Or Frank made this point, Jonathan Toews.
Yes.
He was good for a while, and then by the end of the year, he's out of gas because of the long COVID stuff. So it's such a risk with Sutter, and from the perspective of keeping him here and hoping you get reliable results, to also the perspective of potentially losing a guy you picked in the second round a couple of years ago. So, yeah, it's interesting. Riley had another interesting one that I wanted to get to. He said, surprised there's no Broberg tonight, and I understand where you're coming from, but there's like 5 more preseason games. Like, you want to get looks at everyone. In the game against Vancouver, I was really, really impressed with Gleason. I thought he was their best defenseman in that game.
Yeah, he's good. I think he's good with the puck. He's got a good IQ for it. I think his feet are the reason why he would go down. Like, he's just not that quick on his feet. But I think if he's like your 8th option and you say you have an injury in the playoffs and you're like, damn, where are we going? Like, the others now have that depth to be like, oh, well, we have Ben Gleason, who's a left shot, I think he is.
Well, I mean, you rattle off the 5 guys who are in the lineup, the D-men. Okay, and then you got Broberg and Desharnais. Marcus Niemelainen, put him on waivers, send him down, whatever. He's your 8. And now there's Gleason as your 9, potentially. Like, that's you're starting to see the makings of, like, you could survive an injury or 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Knock on, there's no wood around here, but whatever. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's the go ahead, Aaron.
I'm very comfortable with Ben Gleason. I liked him as an 8-9 D-man.
Yeah.
He looked really good in that Vancouver game.
Like, he did.
He's
I
our best
noticed
D-man.
him all over the place.
Played 20 minutes.
A guy like that, you're not asking him to do anything crazy. He'll come in, be paired with a CC or a Kulak, if, God forbid, knock on wood.
Yeah, someone gets hurt.
Were to happen. But that's been a nice find for me in the preseason.
Yeah.
It's only 25.
A lot of years left there.
Yeah.
Peace is in and says Gleason is him. Don't know about that. Michael's in and says just play Derek Ryan or Holloway at center. Easy solution. No, Derek Ryan can't skate well enough to play center. He can win you a draw, but he's got to play the wing. He can't. Like Jay Woodcroft, when I was sitting in on his interview with Frank, he talked a lot about back pressure, having good back pressure, not back checking, back pressure. Derek Ryan can't give that to you. Dylan Holloway, what did he struggle with last year? Coming out of the D zone.
Yeah.
A lot of turnovers as a winger. Do you trust that guy in a more dangerous area of the ice? Probably not.
They tried him at center a little bit, didn't they? Just to, I think sometimes you put guys at center to just maybe a lot more when they're playing. Like on the wing, you can kind of get lost in the game sometimes. And I just don't think Holloway is there at the moment, or Ryan. Like, it'd be good to just have an experienced guy who's played center.
Sergeant Battle, Gleason better than Broberg? Gotta ask the question. It is the preseason. I was thinking a funny bit for us through the rest of training camp would be to like kind of make up controversies, like things like that. Like, oh my God, has Gleason passed Broberg on the depth chart? Can you believe it?
Better than Nurse? Gotta ask the question.
Here's one I'll throw your way. I have a new article up on the site right now, Oilersnation.com. If you want to read it, I listed my Oilers wish list for this year.
Okay.
These are things, they're not predictions. These are not things that I'm saying will happen or like, I think with numbers and stats to back them up, these are whatever, you know what I'm saying? But these are 5 things that for the vibes of the season, I really want to see.
Okay.
Number 1, very easy, more Connor McDavid dominance. We all want to see him get 170 points.
That's just for pleasure more than anything.
That's what this list is. It's like for my own enjoyment of the year.
Okay.
Number 2, breakouts from Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg.
Yeah.
I think it'd be really cool to see those guys kind of come into their own. It'd be really cool to have the Oilers kind of add 2 impact pieces where over the summer we haven't really been considering those 2 impact pieces.
So what would a breakout be for you? Why would you define that in those 2 players? Consistency?
Dylan Holloway, impactful third-line winger who scores 15 goals.
Okay.
Philip Broberg plays on a pairing with Ekholm and has success. Philip Broberg's success would be they don't go out and get a big name righty at the deadline.
His success for me would be that he's in the lineup every night.
Yeah.
And just a guy you can actually play in this, you trust in. Same with Holloway.
Number 3, this one probably should have been number 1, a Darnell Nurse bounce back.
Yeah.
I hate so much that he's become a whipping boy for this fan base.
Me too.
It's so dumb. Listen, you would all take $9.25 million to play on this blue line if you could. Him signing that contract's not a problem. Was I frustrated with Darnell Nurse at points last year? Yes, everyone was. I saw what all of you saw. But I also think at some point with defensemen specifically, there becomes an element of like confirmation bias where you'll watch him and he'll make 4 or 5 good plays. Darnell Nurse will have 2 good games, but then he makes 1 mistake. And defensemen make mistakes all the time, but he'll make 1 mistake and you're like, bust, hate him, overpaid, worst defenseman we have. Like, I would love to see him go back to his Canadian division self.
Yeah, me too. And the thing is too, let's not act like other great defensemen in this league don't do the exact same thing as well.
Exactly.
Like we sit here and act like guys like Erik Karlsson and Roman Josi or Hedman don't make mistakes. Does no one remember that McDavid absolutely walked Hedman that one day? But people still regard him as one of the best NHL defensemen in the league because he made 1 bad play. The 1 bad play shouldn't define Darnell Nurse. I agree he needs to be...
He had bad stretches last year, but like that's fine.
And that happen on a consistent basis. Like, the one that will always stick out for me as almost a defining play of his season was the pass behind the net against St. Louis. Was it something like that? And then they basically scored. And it's a play I always think about, but I just feel like that was so not as often as people think it was.
Yeah. Dukes is in and says, number 4, Tyler grows a mustache.
Oh, Movember is coming.
Movember is coming. We should talk about that. Jack is in, says, Vinny needs to be more physical and fight a bit. George Larocque would teach him well. I mean, I don't think Vinny Desharnais being 6'7" is all the intimidation he needs. When he's out there, guys will not screw around because he's there.
I don't think he needs to be more physical. I actually think sometimes being more physical can take away from his actual game. I think Vinny's a presence back there, like you said, just with the way he looks. He's also a terrifying looking human being, despite being 6'7". That has nothing to do with it. I would not like to come down the tracks on Vincent Desharnais.
Sung Jae is in. He wants to see Broberg break out, and he says, Nurse Broberg pairing by the end of the year. Book it. It's interesting.
Nurse Broberg.
I don't
like that.
I don't like that either, but I'm not closing the door on Philip Broberg being a top 4 D-man this year.
No, I'm not
writing him off.
I'm not either.
It's buzzing in here. We're at Century Mile Racetrack for the Oilers Nation night at the Ponies. Everyone's getting ready, studying their programs. Bagged Milk has shown up. He is in attendance. I'm excited to see him rattle off or see some of these horse names because they're good.
Yeah, they are good names. They are good names. I'm excited to see the racing begin when we are 10 minutes away, 15 minutes away.
Right? Yeah, I think the first heat doesn't run till it says post time 6:15 on the program. So I think we got half an hour still.
Okay, well,
so we'll keep rolling.
They're doing something on the track right now. It looks like they're essentially not icing it.
They're raking it.
They're flooding it, but in horse terms.
Zamboni-ish. It's like what they do to the infield at baseball games. They rake it.
Yes.
And they're just driving a truck around it. It did rain a lot, right? So you want to make sure for the horses.
Yeah, it looks like a good old Ford F-150. to me.
Aaron's so far away that I feel like he might be saying stuff and we're just totally ignoring
Can't hear
you.
him.
You good? You're good? All right. All right, you're all good. Let's keep moving along with today's show. The big Oilers news that we got today, outside of the fact there's a preseason game, Steve Staois hired away by the Ottawa Senators.
Yes.
He will be the new president of hockey operations. And this is a really interesting story to kind of dissect through the stages of what we've heard and kind of seen over the last few months. Oilers get eliminated, and there are strong rumblings. Frank was on our show talking about it, that Ken Holland was potentially not going to be the GM this year.
Mm-hmm.
He's heading into the last year of his deal. The organization was going to kind of say, hey, it's time to maybe just transition power over. We don't want you going in, just lame duck last year. We're going to give the job to Steve Staois. It really sounded like for a while that Steve Staois was going to be the next GM of the Edmonton Oilers.
Yes.
I think if I can connect some dots, what maybe happened is Ken Holland pushed back on that idea. I think Ken Holland really wanted to see through his 5-year contract. I think he won that battle. Remember back at that press conference he had at the end of the season when he was kind of asked about his future and asked about Steve Staois. And when you go back and read some of those quotes about Steve isn't ready yet, he said, I think he's a good assistant GM.
Yeah.
He talked about, I'm paraphrasing away in a bit now, but he talked about Steve Staois kind of had lessons to learn.
Yeah. And now here we are.
Fast forward to a couple of weeks ago, Ken Holland comes out and Steve Staois has been taken off the website. He was not in their guide and record book to start the year or their media guide. Mm-hmm. Everything, Staois was scrubbed from the organization. There was no digital footprint of Steve Staois being an Edmonton Oilers employee.
Yeah.
Ken Holland says he has a family emergency, hasn't talked to him in a month.
Which was a wild comment to make.
Insane.
You could have just said, didn't even have to put the date on it.
Could have just said he's not with the organization right now, whatever.
Yeah.
Plenty of different ways to go about handling that. But you go back, those now feel like direct shots at Steve Staois.
They really do the more you think about it. Of like, he left the organization for a month. No one's spoken to him. No one's all this stuff. Like the assistant GM things. And now, here we are today. The Oilers basically announced he's gone, and then seconds later he's with Ottawa.
Hey, I mean, I woke up this morning to the news from Chris Johnson. Steve Staois is the next president of hockey ops. And again, we knew there was a chance this happened. We knew or speculated the reason the Oilers might elevate Staois faster is because they knew this Ottawa thing was coming. New Senators owner Michael Andlauer and Staois go back to their Hamilton Bulldog days. I think this, and I don't think we will ever get the truth publicly, I think this was a much, much messier divorce than the press release leads you to believe.
I would agree. I think the groundwork is there for it. And should there be something coming for the Oilers in terms of a compensation in a small way? It's interesting. The Oilers had to pay for Peter Chiarelli, and he wasn't even
They scrubbed
hired.
that rule, though, right?
Oh, they scrubbed it?
Like a week after the Oilers had to give up their
How
pick.
convenient,
I know.
NHL. Well, I'll give him a pick. But
So-
I don't know. We'll see. But on the flip side of it, I think this could be a good thing for the organization in the terms of if Holland, whatever his future holds, right?
Yeah.
Whoever the next guy is, doesn't have to be Steve Staois now. And from a Jeff Jackson perspective, it's okay. Now I can bring in my guy and not just a guy this organization's been training to be the next person in line, right? So
I wouldn't have been the least bit surprised if the Oilers had something along the lines of, Steve, you will be our next GM, just wait a year.
Yeah.
And then, hey, this is a president of hockey ops job. This guy's never been an NHL GM. He's kind of barely been an NHL assistant GM.
Yeah.
And Ottawa's given him the keys to the whole thing.
very Senators of them, really, isn't it? I don't know.
Owner hiring his buddy. Like I like Steve Staois. I think he's going to be a fine executive, but this whole scenario has just been weird.
When the Staois stuff came out, I admittedly was a little concerned about the idea of a rookie executive in the NHL taking over a Connor McDavid-led team. Now I'm not saying the Oilers have dodged a bullet in this, but now you have the opportunity of bringing someone in with experience and all that kind of stuff, right? I think this is better for the organization than maybe some people made it seem.
Here was Duke said the press release seemed a little passive aggressive, and I honestly kind of agree with it.
I haven't read it.
Oh, we lost our camera. 1 sec.
We're still here.
All right, let's step aside for a quick little Star Mechanical ad break here, and we'll get our camera sorted out. The joys of being live on location, but we are back. That was a very quick fix. I didn't even leave my seat.
I ran to the bathroom.
And it's probably, yeah, good bathroom break for Liam. We are live at Century Mile Racetrack. It's Oilers Nation at night at the track. We are about 25 minutes away from getting going with the first races of the day. Big shout out to our friends at Sherwood Ford the Giant as well. The Nation truck is buzzing around here somewhere. I gave the keys to Waz. I don't know where Waz went with the truck. Waz has also been seen on the track multiple times. He's having an interesting experience here. But let's keep going along with the Star Mechanical News Desk. We talked about the news that Steve Staois is the brand new president of hockey ops in Ottawa. We had a comment about that. Riley had a comment. He deleted it. He said, good organizations kind of have these, you have the plans in place, succession plans. Now it feels like the Oilers might be scrambling. I'm very intrigued to see what Jeff Jackson does next summer with this GM hire, because it's his call. If Ken Holland is walking away, which we are led to believe he is, like that's the word on the street, is he's not signing no extension to keep being the GM of the Oilers. There's no like clear-cut obvious guy out there. There's no one like it's not. I don't think it's going to be Brad Holland.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think it's going to be Keith Gretzky.
Yeah,
I think some people at a point may have thought Tyler Wright is the guy getting trained. He's gone. He's fired. He's not getting that job. I also don't think, from what we know about Jeff Jackson, I think he's a guy who likes progressive hires.
Yeah.
I don't think he likes the traditional hockey mold all that much. I don't think this is going to be Doug Armstrong leaving the St. Louis Blues to be the GM of the Oilers a year from now. I don't think it's Doug Wilson. I don't think it's anyone like that.
No. What if it's the new fella they just hired, whose name I can't say yet? Michael
Parcati?
Piccata?
No, he's not a GM.
You don't think so?
No.
Why not? What you just if they're saying he wants to keep progressive hires, and that boy oh boy, that would be one.
But a guy who's been in the organization for like that little amount of time.
If he does a good job, then I wouldn't be shocked if he's a candidate, I guess you could say.
And maybe, but again, you're going to elevate him to GM. He wouldn't have been assistant GM at all, right?
Maybe, yeah, maybe not then.
Right? Maybe he's the next assistant GM. Like that's a natural elevation.
That would kind of make sense.
I think it's going to be someone that we aren't even talking about right now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they go the agent route. I know some people are joking in here saying Sam Gagne, but Mike just said Dave Gagne. Hey, man, like they work at the same agency as Jeff Jackson. They know each other. Riley says Keith Gretzky's name always comes up. I don't think they would do that. I don't
think they can do that. And we've spoke about it multiple times on this show. It's not due to Keith Gretzky's inability to do the job. It's the fact his name's Gretzky.
Yeah.
And people would just hate it so much. People hate the fact that Paul Coffey's still involved in some regard. And no one really knows what he actually does. But, you know,
I'd keep an eye on that scenario.
No.
If we're talking about maybe a name in the organization.
Okay. Well, there you go. Paul Coffey, next GM. You heard it here first.
All right.
Yeah.
Other news today, the Minnesota Wild made a couple of signings. They re-upped Matt Zuccarello to an extension, and they signed Marcus Foligno to a 4-year, $16 million contract.
I did not see the Foligno one.
Yeah, it just came down a couple hours ago. Good guy in the room, but come on. $4 million? His stat line, he had 7 goals in 65 games last year, Liam.
Yeah, that's not good. Didn't Minnesota do this similar deal with a guy like Jordan Greenway as well?
And they had to pay to get rid of him.
Yeah. This is a Bill Guerin kind of player, I guess you could say, right?
Clearly, like I think Billy Guerin's a real good GM. It's interesting how many former Oilers turn into real good GMs.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of money to give Marcus Foligno. The Blue Jackets also claiming goaltender Spencer Martin off of waivers. I think Daniil Tarasov's a little banged up, so there's some insight into why they do that. The Canucks also have Colin Delia, obviously Thatcher Demko, and they went out and got Casey DeSmith. So they had no need for Spencer Martin, so that's fine. There was another piece of news Andre Vasilevsky's not going to be playing the first 8 to 10 weeks of this season.
Yes, they have 3 backups in contention. It's Matt Tompkins,
former Sherwood Park Crusader. Nice.
Johansson, who was with Colorado last season, and I believe the other guy is a rookie from Finland. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Yeah, Hugo and Annafelt.
Yeah, he was in World Juniors team for a couple of years.
They need to hit the waiver wire, or they need to sign Yaroslav Halak.
Either one would probably work. Or there was the Dan Vladar trade, which could be a possibility. It's a good deal. Was he $2.2 million or something like that?
I bet you he gets him a second or a third round pick.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's
a really good goalie.
He's their best goalie last season.
And they have Dustin Wolf. It sounds like right now, Dustin Wolf starting in the American League from what Craig Conroy told Frank the other day. But Sung Jae's in. Vladar to Tampa prediction. I don't think, it's only 8 to 10 weeks. At the same time, and also, they don't have money. Like a $2.2 million backup is a luxury they cannot afford in Tampa.
That's true. You got to think back to last season where they couldn't afford to pay Alex Kolonen. That's why they lost him, and they lost Yanni Gord the year before that too. Like, this is an organization that has gone to the cap every year and then won, and now they're losing a lot of guys, and they have to rely on guys like the 3 backups they had. Right, like they had Brian Elliott forever because he was just a league minimum kind of deal.
Yeah, Curtis McElhenney had trips through Tampa because he just signs for basically no money. So anyways, Cooper had this to say. I want everybody to be clear on this. This isn't the end of Vashti's season. He'll be back, and hopefully, knowing him, it'll be sooner than later, but for a short time, we're going to have to fill the gap.
Yeah.
He's coming back. You're going to play the absolute wheels off him, and they can't afford a $2.2 million backup. Go give Yaroslav Halak $700,000 or $900,000, $1 million because you'll bury him when Vasilevsky's back, and bridge that gap. Don't risk. Their division's tough, I think. I know Frank wasn't super high on it, but I think their division's tough. So you can't risk starting the year 6 games under 500 because Jonas Johansson, who is terrible, is your goalie.
Who's division is? Toronto, Montreal, Detroit, Boston, Florida, Ottawa.
Yeah, Montreal.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
It's good.
It's a tough one.
I once had someone who works in the NHL tell me Jonas Johansson is the worst goalie in the league. And they said he wouldn't. They had some hilarious line one time when he got claimed off waivers. And they were like, he would be the worst goalie in the American Hockey League.
Wow.
They were like, he can't make it through a practice. So anyways, that was one executive who did not like Jonas Johansson. Anyways. Live on the YouTube, Tyler Mulick's in. I'm late. Old lady had me running shorts. Is Tyler a Discord member? I just downloaded the app.
It is in the process.
I'm in the process. I said someone from the YouTube had to come over and teach me how to do it. So Sergeant Battle showed up. He's here. He will sign me into it once the app's done downloading onto my phone. Wi-Fi is great at Century Mile.
It is good, yes.
You could treat this place like a Starbucks. Just come bring your work computer, sit, watch the ponies, get stuff done. Excellent Wi-Fi. We even lagged once.
No, it's been solid. The issue came from ourselves, from kicking out the camera cord.
Yeah, that 100% was us.
To do regular work.
Why not?
Yeah,
good atmosphere.
Great idea.
Bet you the restaurant's real good. We also have an exciting announcement at Oilers Nation. NationGear.ca. You can get your tickets to the Oilers Nation kickoff party Wednesday, October 11th at the home of all of our parties, Greta. We're going to be burning the house down on a Wednesday night to celebrate the start of the season. If you want to get your tickets, go to nationgear.ca right now. Teaming up with Greta, teaming up with our friends at Budweiser. All the event is in support of kids sport as well. And if you're here at Century Mile and you think the giveaways are good here tonight, we got Heritage Classic jerseys. We got Nation Gear. I don't know if I can say what our big giveaway is, but we have a lot of tickets to a certain event that I think you will want to attend. And we'll be giving away those tickets at our kickoff party on October 11th. So giddy up.
I'll have to go.
NationGear.ca, again, always in support of charity. We're doing it with our friends at Kids Sport this year. We are also still running our big sale up at NationGear.ca. So if you want to pick up some merch before the start of the year,
this little guy,
that sweater's on sale, $59, Liam.
It's a great deal.
The sweater I'm wearing is also on sale, $59. We also have some old blackout gear we're blowing out from last year's Black Friday. So lots going on at nationgear.ca. Continuing along, let's talk a little Betway Other Sports Report, because if you've been watching on the YouTube and you see my eyes constantly darting out to the left, you will see I've been watching the Toronto Blue Jays game, and a sac fly by Kiermaier is going to bring in one more run. It's 4-0 Blue Jays. A win tonight for the Toronto Blue Jays drops their magic number to 1. A Blue Jays win coupled with a Seattle Mariners loss. The Toronto Blue Jays could clinch a playoff spot this evening.
Really?
Yeah, big night. Only 2 more games after this one left in the regular season. So if the Jays just win 2 of their final 3, they're going to get in, but they could clinch as early as tonight. They're up 4-0 on the Tampa Bay Rays. The Jays were moneyline favorites. My bet of the day up on the Betway feed was the over 7.5, and it's looking like the Jays just might do that themselves as their center fielder just dropped that.
Just dropped it.
Drop that.
Here comes Cook.
That's a nice double.
Wow.
Anyways, this is not us doing baseball play-by-play.
Look at those. Look at those. Oh, you missed it.
What?
They
As
were
we do
wearing
more play-by-play.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
wearing like almost Blue Jay pajamas in a way.
You look good.
There.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, that was the giveaway. It was a hoodie.
Oh, those are so cool.
Yeah, they look cool.
Should have gone.
NFL slate this Sunday. I know we're talking about a lot of betting because we're out of the horse track. It's in the atmosphere. It's what you do. Anything you really like this week, NFL wise?
Well, actually, I had a lot.
How about your
I was
Lions?
gonna say I had a lot of fun last night.
Did you? Is the Betway account flush?
I cashed out last night. I
Attaboy.
was feeling pretty good about myself.
That's a good feeling.
I had the Lions money line. I had Sam Laporta yards, which was like
He
44.
crushed it.
He's the
He
best.
crushed that. He's good.
And
He's
then
really good.
I had Jared Goff touchdowns. And I had David Montgomery touchdown. I had a big night. I had a
Yeah.
very big night.
No
people.
kidding.
And let me put it on the record. Liam, against me in fantasy football, benched David Montgomery.
Tough choice.
It was a
Thrilling way to
bad
wake up.
decision, and I'll tell you why quickly. Because the people on NFL
No.
Network said he was inactive,
Ah,
and then I got busy throughout the day. I'm a working man. I'm a busy boy.
yep.
Game time comes. There's David Montgomery running for 3 touchdowns.
Aaron, anything you like on the NFL slate this weekend?
Honestly, I'm more looking at race 1 at Caught Stealing Home. These people got to get down here because I got a really good feeling about this one right now. Bag Milk, do you like any here today?
Listen, I got something here at 12 to 1, 10 to 1, 10 to 1. I'm in on all 3.
We're going to have a good night here at Century Mile Racetrack. About 10 minutes left here in the show because that's when the races are going to get going. Maybe only 5 minutes left, so we have time to go place some wagers.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Yeah, let's get into it. Anyway, shout out to Century Mile for having us out here. Shout out to Betway 19 Plus. Please play responsibly. Oilers taking on the Calgary Flames. I believe we're about an hour away from puck drop between those two sides. Talked a little bit earlier on about what we're expecting. The Oilers have made some roster changes or roster decisions.
Big ones.
Did anything stand out to you out of that group?
No, not really. And I shouldn't say big ones as in, oh, they cut someone big. It's like there was just a lot of people that went down.
Yeah.
15 players went down in total. There was nobody really. Honestly, the biggest surprise was the players that stayed up more than anything. Like, I think in the next couple of days here, probably after the weekend, is when they'll make a few more cuts. 'Cause I think they play tonight, tomorrow, and then Monday.
Yeah.
So I think Sunday night is when we'll see kind of trimmings. You'll just have a few guys like Savoy and what was that defenseman's name? Hoffenheimer.
Yeah, Noel Hoffenmeyer.
He'll probably go down too. So
I was
No big
surprised Jaden
decisions.
Gruby didn't stick around a little bit longer.
yeah,
I was surprised Ty Tullio didn't stick around a little bit longer. I was surprised Max Warner didn't stick around a little bit longer.
I just think that.
But I guess you're getting to that point.
Yeah, this coming down a little bit now, isn't it? I know we joked about how many preseason games there are, but after this weekend, there's only going to be 2 left.
Yeah.
Right? 2 or 3, whatever it is. So got to make decisions eventually. And then the Condor season starts on October 13th. So they have their own little camp.
There
too.
is probably something to going down and getting acclimated to Bakersfield, knowing that, like, again, I know I mentioned that group because I'm very high on all of them. I think they all project to be
pretty good.
NHLers. I think
Yeah.
they're going to help the Oilers one day. But I don't think any of them are helping the Oilers this season.
No.
So let them go down, get acclimated for all of those guys, too. First pro season.
Yes,
so
it
get your
is.
house figured out, right? Like, you're not in junior anymore. Like, it
Yeah.
could be a bit more of a process. So maybe I shouldn't have been so quick to judge on that one. Did the Jays end? Was the inning done?
The inning is over.
or did they yank Savale?
I think the inning ended.
Okay.
Oh, actually, because there was 2 on and 1
I'm
out.
on it. I'll look in.
Who knows? We weren't watching.
Yeah, we don't know. We're working.
Tyler Mulick is in and says, I like what Groob's going to bring in a couple of years. I do too. I think he projects as a very, very nice bottom 6 piece for this Oilers team.
Yeah. I think that's what the Oilers have a lot of right now is kind of bottom 6 guys.
Yeah.
Guy like Petrov, I think, can be a top 6 player. You got an
Inning
update?
ended.
End of the inning?
Ah, darn.
Yeah. Must have been a double play.
Yeah, somehow.
But yeah, I think the Oilers have a lot of good prospects. Just like what many
Yep.
people will tell you.
Tyler Mulick wants to know our take on the Mark Stone stuff from the other day.
Soft.
Yeah, like, I didn't think the hit was that dirty. And
I didn't think it was.
I saw
dirty at
someone
all.
comment on our Instagram and was like, how would you be reacting if McDavid got hit like that in a preseason game? One, Stone's fine.
Yeah.
If McDavid reacted that way, I would probably be a little bit like, calm down preseason. I don't know. I just felt like Mark Stone was just being Mark Stone. Like, I don't know. He's kind of got that personality.
Yeah, and also McDavid just wouldn't put himself in that situation. He keeps his head up when he plays hockey.
Yeah,
that's one.
Like Mark Stone, about him. Just because it's preseason doesn't mean you cannot get hit legally hit.
It was a legal hit.
He just hit him hard, and Mark Stone freaked out. Like,
and those comments after always drive me nuts. Is like, and I get it.
It's disrespectful.
It is, and Stone's in like the heat of the moment and all that stuff. So I get it. But
you've calmed down after the game,
and that's the thing. It was midway through the second period.
Yeah.
And he's still going on about it. And then he's like bragging about what he did to Brent Clark, who also loves to run his mouth too. So it was quite funny in a way to see him in that situation. But he's just like, Stone, you're not a big tough guy. You're not making yourself look any bigger. I'm sure a lot of people around the league are actually probably laughing at what you're saying. Yeah. We are. Also, wasn't Mark Stone like a 7th round pick? Like, dude, you were that guy. Yeah, you were that guy your first couple of training camps, right? Like, you weren't the number one. Like, you had to go grind. You just picked 178th overall. So, like, politely, shut up. Yes, I agree. It's the Golden Knights way. Wind your way to victory.
Yeah. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Let's wrap up the show by giving some love to our friends at Alberta Blue Cross. Liam, they are here to protect memories. That's what they bring with their travel insurance. When we go on our nation vacations, they'll stand in. They'll stand in for you. They'll give you the travel insurance you need. So if anything goes wrong, you are covered. What was your favorite memory of the show?
Honestly, I think just beginning the show, and it's not part of the show, I suppose, but just being here.
I was going to say,
Racetrack
our best memories are the ones we haven't made yet tonight, because we're going to have a good time at the track.
We will. I'm really excited. I've never seen a live horse race.
Really?
I've never seen one.
You've never been here?
I've never been here. I've been to the one at the expo. Like, I've seen it and stuff like that, but not here. This one specifically.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
Man.
All right. I'm just going to say my favorite memory is going to be watching you taking your first ever horse race.
Thank you.
Aaron, favorite memory of the show?
My favorite memory was when the center fielder dropped the ball.
And we were doing play-by-play. That was a fun memory. Protect your memories with Alberta Blue Cross. There is only one thing better than sharing memories, and that's making new ones. Alberta Blue Cross Travel Insurance protects your memories and more wherever your travel takes you. Visit ab.bluecross.ca/travel for more. If you're watching right now and you aren't subscribed to the YouTube, that's going to be a problem. Why? Because the show's back every day on Monday.
Yes, it is. Once you watch our show, you can then watch Jason Gregor's show right after. And then once that show's done, eventually you'll be able to watch Are we
saying the name? I wanted him on camera.
We haven't yet.
We haven't. No, we haven't.
Well, you'll be able
we
to
have a
watch
name for the pregame show.
Yeah. And then after the game, you'll be able to watch After Dark again.
There's another show.
So we're loading you up here on Oilersnation YouTube. So hit subscribe. We're almost at 17,000.
Yeah. Also, Oilersnation Radio and Nation Real Life are going to be posted as full hour-long video shows starting next week. Right? We're doing that next week.
It's on my calendar.
Okay, we're doing it next week. So that means
we are so back.
We're so back. 2 episodes of ON Radio every week, 2 episodes of Real Life, 5 episodes of Oilers Nation every day, 5 episodes of Gregor puts you up to 14 plus pre and post game. Subscribe to the YouTube.
You're loaded. You're getting like 30 shows a week.
Subscribe to the GD YouTube.
Yeah.
Liam, we talked about race 1, race 2. Katie Lou, Bearcat Abigail, Mataki, Goodbye, See Ya Later, 8-1. That's my pick. Sapphire Blue or Past Affair. Who you taking?
Bearcat Abigail, 10-1.
It's a good one. Out of Camrose, Alberta.
Love the Kodiaks.
Goodbye, See You Later.
Goodbye, See You Later.
Goodbye, See You Later. That name is electric.
It would be ironic if that was finished last.
It would be, but we're not going to put that into the universe. Big shout out to our friends at Century Mile Racetrack for hosting us for today's show and hosting the entire night. We are going to have a good time.
Yes, we are.
This is hopefully not the only time we're doing this, because I think it's going to be like a top tier Nation night. If you missed this event though, and you're like, damn, I wanted to hang out with all the Oilers Nation crew, season launch party October 11th at Greta. Tickets available now at nationgear.ca. Big shout out to Sports Closet and the Sports Closet Studio. Get your Heritage Classic gear now. Sherwood Ford the Giant, Star Mechanical, Betway, Alberta Blue Cross, and of course, our friends at the Century Mile Racetrack. Big shout out to AB and our new boy, Pat Puff, for helping with the setup on today's show as well.
Yes, and for helping me with something else.
Let's go racing. We'll talk with you on Monday.